Welcome to U.S. Briefing. The content of the briefing includes: Musk calls Berlin support of migrant rescues in Mediterranean and invasion of Italy. Record-breaking rainfall swamps New York causing mass disruptions as more downpours are expected. Government shutdown, House voting as Republicans scramble for deal. Cigna Group announces settlement with U.S. on claims it overcharged Medicare Advantage program. Hong Kong mogul, activist, and now a prisoner for 1,000 days. Musk calls Berlin support of migrant rescues in Mediterranean and invasion of Italy. Telegraph. Elon Musk has described Berlin-funded migrant rescue operations in the Mediterranean as an invasion of Italy, sparking a row between the billionaire Tesla founder and the German government. Musk had shared a tweet criticizing German rescue ships and expressing support for Germany's hard-right party AfD. Giorgia Meloni, the Italian prime minister, has called for rescued migrants to be disembarked in their own countries. Berlin has condemned Musk's comments, with the foreign ministry saying that saving lives was called solidarity. Record-breaking rainfall swamps New York causing mass disruptions as more downpours are expected. ABC. New York City experienced heavy rainfall on Friday, resulting in extensive flooding and transportation disruptions. John F. Kennedy Airport saw a record-breaking 220 millimeters of rain, the highest recorded in September since 1960. Subway and commuter rail lines were knocked out, highways were flooded, and an airport terminal closed for several hours. The rainfall reminded residents of the devastating floods caused by Hurricane Ida 2 years ago, during which 13 New Yorkers died. Although there were no reports of deaths or severe injuries this time, the storm caused widespread disruption and damage to properties. Government shutdown, House voting as Republicans scramble for deal. The Independent. House Republican leadership is working to gather support for a continuing resolution to fund the government ahead of the shutdown deadline. Speaker Kevin McCarthy is moving forward with the bill despite the risk of facing opposition from far-right members of his party. Democrats are frustrated with the short amount of time they have been given to review the legislation and are unsure if it is a clean continuing resolution. Cigna Group announces settlement with U.S. on claims it overcharged Medicare Advantage program. Reuters. Health insurer Cigna has reached a settlement with the United States over allegations it overcharged the government's Medicare Advantage program. The settlement includes a payment of $172 million by Cigna, and the company will also enter into a corporate integrity agreement with the U.S. Office of Inspector General. The allegations stated that Cigna obtained tens of millions of dollars in Medicare funds by submitting false diagnoses for patients without conducting the necessary tests. Medicare is a government health insurance program for people aged 65 and older. Hong Kong mogul, activist, and now a prisoner for 1,000 days. The Guardian. Jimmy Lai, a media mogul and pro-democracy activist who founded Apple Daily, was arrested in Hong Kong in August 2020. He has since been charged with violating Hong Kong's new national security law and is currently awaiting trial. Lai's imprisonment has been condemned by international observers and human rights groups, and his case is seen as emblematic of the crackdown on free speech in Hong Kong. Lai's rags-to-riches journey began when he fled mainland China as a child and smuggled himself into Hong Kong. He made a fortune through his clothing brand, Giordano, before pivoting to media in the wake of the 1989 Tiananmen Square massacre. Lai launched Apple Daily in 1995 and it became an instant hit, known for its racy, freewheeling journalism. The newspaper was forced to close in 2021 following Beijing's crackdown on freedoms in Hong Kong. Throughout his career, Lai has faced death threats, firebombings, and other acts of intimidation. He has also been arrested multiple times and has spent more than 1,000 days in prison. Lai has remained defiant, saying that there is always a price to pay for standing up for truth, justice, and goodness. Anti-abortion groups are at odds on strategies ahead of Ohio vote. It could be a preview for 2024. The Independent. Opponents to reproductive rights in Ohio are at odds over their messaging and long-term goals on restricting abortion. Scattershot campaign messaging in Ohio hints at some of the internal conflict among members of the broad anti-abortion coalition aligned against the constitutional amendment that seeks to protect abortion access in Ohio. While some early ads played on voters' fears by warning that the amendment would be a gateway to teenagers getting abortions and gender transition surgeries without their parents' consent, other efforts focused on advancing legal arguments about the amendment's specific phrasing. In its first statewide TV ad, the opposition campaign Protect Women Ohio combined clips of former President Donald Trump and President Joe Biden on screen to try to unite Republicans and Democrats against the proposal's ability to protect abortions into the 9th month of pregnancy, even though health statistics show later-term abortions are a rarity. Abortion rights questions are planned in more than half a dozen states next year. 2024 polls, majority of voters say Trump should be disqualified. The Independent. A majority of voters would support an attempt to disqualify former President Donald Trump from the ballot in 2024, according to a new poll by Politico and Morning Consult. 51% of respondents said that Trump should be prevented from running under the 14th Amendment because he was part of an insurrection following the 2020 election. However, 34% said that Trump should not be disqualified. The poll also revealed that Trump has the backing of 58% of Republican voters, according to a CNN polling average. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis is supported by 15%, 43 points behind Trump. The polls show Trump with the biggest lead in a primary campaign since George W. Bush in September 1999. The poll results come as Trump has been increasing his public appearances and dropping hints about a potential run for president in 2024. His popularity among Republican voters suggests that he would be a strong contender if he decides to enter the race. However, it is important to note that polls can fluctuate over time and do not guarantee election outcomes. Other potential candidates, such as DeSantis, could gain support and pose a challenge to Trump in the primary. The poll also reflects the ongoing division within the country over Trump's actions and the events of January 6. While a majority of voters believe that Trump should be disqualified from running, a significant portion still believes that he should be allowed to run again. This highlights the deep political polarization and differing opinions about Trump's role in the insurrection and his fitness for office. As the 2024 election approaches, these divisions are likely to continue shaping the political landscape and influencing voter preferences. That's all the news for today, folks. Let's recap what we've covered. Elon Musk has sparked a row with the German government by calling Berlin-funded migrant rescue operations in the Mediterranean an invasion of Italy. Record-breaking rainfall in New York City has caused mass disruptions, reminding residents of the devastating floods caused by Hurricane Ida 2 years ago. The House is voting on a continuing resolution to fund the government, while Democrats express frustration over the lack of time to review the legislation. Health insurer Cigna has reached a settlement with the U.S. over allegations of overcharging the government's Medicare Advantage program. Media mogul and pro-democracy activist Jimmy Lai has been imprisoned in Hong Kong for over 1,000 days, symbolizing the crackdown on free speech in the city. Opponents to reproductive rights in Ohio are divided on strategies ahead of an upcoming vote, providing a preview for the 2024 election. A poll shows that a majority of voters believe former President Donald Trump should be disqualified from running in 2024 under the 14th Amendment, but he still has strong support among Republican voters. Finally, a researcher highlights the lack of mechanisms for dealing with digital remains after death and calls for tech companies to consider the issue. Now, let's dive into some analysis. Elon Musk's comments on migrant rescue operations reveal his support for Germany's hard-right party and his strong stance on immigration. While his views may be controversial, it's important to consider the humanitarian aspect of these rescue operations and the lives saved. The heavy rainfall in New York City highlights the vulnerability of urban areas to extreme weather events and the need for better infrastructure and preparedness. The ongoing government shutdown saga reflects the political divisions and challenges faced by both parties in reaching a funding agreement. Cigna's settlement highlights the issue of healthcare fraud and the importance of holding companies accountable. Jimmy Lai's imprisonment in Hong Kong is a stark reminder of the erosion of free speech and democratic values in the city. The divisions among anti-abortion groups in Ohio foreshadow the contentious debates and legal battles that lie ahead on reproductive rights. The poll on Trump's disqualification shows the deep polarization within the country and the continued influence of the former president. Finally, the discussion on digital remains after death raises important questions about the preservation of personal and collective memory in the digital age. Now, I'd love to hear your thoughts. What do you make of Elon Musk's comments on migrant rescue operations? How do you think the heavy rainfall in New York City reflects climate change challenges? And what are your opinions on the ongoing government shutdown and the disqualification of Trump from running in 2024? Leave your comments and questions below, and let's have a lively discussion. Thank you for tuning in. The content above showcases the latest briefing reports and analytical synopses, thoughtfully curated by the 6Do team. These insights stem from a wide array of reputable media outlets, think tanks, government sources, and specialized experts worldwide. We encourage you to explore these sources for a comprehensive perspective. Keep in mind that while the content may not always align with the official standpoint of 6Do Brief, it's not meant to be taken as absolute directives for decision-making. Comprising seasoned media professionals, learned scholars, and accomplished scientists, the 6Do team embodies a trailblazing, fully independent media entity. To customize 6Do Brief to meet your professional needs, you have the option to subscribe to a diverse array of briefings on our website, 6dobrief.com. Regardless of your location, you can conveniently receive 6Do Brief via email.